Hello. Welcome to Soundings with SASH this evening. How are we doing this evening? Who's with me? It's nice to see you guys on a Monday. So, how's it going? So, last week, I kind of left you with some setting goals, and I'm wondering who's with me tonight that was here for that talk about setting some goals. One, I'd like to know if you followed through and met any of the goals that you set last week. Small goals, small goals. So in the comments, say hello and also tell me what your small goal was and did you achieve it or not? And if you didn't, what was your obstacles? So in the comments, like to see you. Hi, Tom. How are you doing this evening? Nice to see you. So this is my Soundings with Sash. This is my life coaching page where I'm going to help you set some goals and to reach those goals. So I'm navigating you to your destination of revelation. So that's what this page is all about. And so it's nice to see you all this evening. And so, hello, Steve. How are you? So anybody with me that was here last Monday evening, that I gave you a challenge. I said, set a small goal, not the huge goals, because this is kind of around the holiday time and we just need to reach some small goals. So did you reach one? So who's with me? So it's nice to see you, Tom and Steve. I appreciate your feedback. And hey, Jason, thanks for joining me also. So I know it's kind of late in the evening, and this is kind of my signature. So this is Mugs Up. This is my St. Louis cup. Of course, it has a little special type of tea in it from down under. So anyway, all right, Tom, let's see. What does he say? Always resumed my running program Saturday, missed 12 days, did 3 miles. Oh, that's awesome. Running. I just started doing that last year and I kind of missed, I haven't done it as much this year because of COVID, of course. So your goal was to make me smile. Why? Thank you. I appreciate that. And Jason, the only reason I don't achieve them are just me, really. So yes, are we our only obstacle? Usually, yes. We're usually our only obstacle, correct? So that's what we're going to be talking about this evening is how to get from your real life goals to your ideal life goals. How are you going to get there? How do you bridge the gap? What's missing? What do you need to do? So that's what we're going to be talking about. So I want you to think about 8 major areas of life. So work, money, living environment, personal growth, health, recreation, community, family, God. And so I want to take you through the 8 major areas of your life. So think about those places. And what's really good is to sketch those areas out. Like do you all have some paper and a pen? So what you can do is sketch out those areas in your life. And then from there, I think we kind of prioritize certain things in that list, kind of make your priorities of where those places lie, like 1 to 8. Okay. So then once you take those and you say, okay, these are priorities. Okay. Then I want you to visualize, is that the right priority? Is it in the right order for you? What order does that follow? Where does each category fall in? So think about it just for a second. So what you want to do is you want to visualize your ideal life versus your real life. Real life, of course, we have certain things that have to be priority, but there's certain things that we'd like to not have those be the priority and to switch it over to whatever our ideals are. So just take a minute and think about that. So visualize your future. So how are you going to imagine that? Like your environment, where are you going to be at? Where's your living environment? What does that look like? What would you like it to look like? How are you going to get there? Your relationships. What do those look like right now for you? How are you going to make different decisions in relationships? Where's the priority there? So it's always taking something and then prioritizing it. So always making lists. Like I am a paper person. So some people can type it out and categorize it and put it on an Excel spreadsheet or whatever they do. Not me. I am the old school, gonna put it on a piece of paper and I'm gonna write it out, and then I'm gonna scratch off those things, or I'm gonna reprioritize, because sometimes those priorities change depending. Like say you met your goal of an ideal job. Of course, now your income is higher, you're making better money. So now that money piece takes a different place in your categories and where it's gonna fall, right? So if you joined me tonight and you haven't said hello, please say hello. Seems like I've got just the guy crew tonight, which is fine. But hello. If any wonderful ladies have joined me, please say hello in the comments. Okay, so draw a picture of your ideal life. What does that look like? So what does your ideal day look like in that ideal life? What is your ideal day? Just think about it for a second. Not going to rush you. Put it in the comments. Let's see. Tom says, I must have a journal at all times. Yes. I'm old school, Tom. I don't know if you are, but I just can't get away from, I have a laptop, I have an iPad, I have a phone, I have the notes and everything. But honestly, the good old pen and paper is what wins every time for me, because for some reason, when I write it down, it becomes more concrete to me. Okay. And I think we talked about that last week, right, Jason, about your neuro pathways and how that the connection between the writing it out and your brain, how that works. So if that's what you have to do to remember it and to cement it and to really make that a goal, that's what you should do. So what does your ideal life look like? Anybody in the comments, let me know just one thing out of your ideal life that maybe is missing that you don't have in your real life right now. What's one thing in your ideal life that you can think of that you want to achieve and you want to get to? Please write in the comments. I'd be really curious to see what you guys are having to say today. So let's see. Yes, Tom, structure, paper and pen. Don't ask me to enter notes in Google Docs. Yeah, all of those things. But I tell you, the new way is tech, and we all have to, catch up on all those things. And I think in a job situation, yes, that's important. But I think in our own goal setting and visualization, like I still do the old school vision board. In a couple weeks, I'm about to launch a vision board group. So that's why I'm talking about this is just to get in gear with what does your ideal life look like? So only thing is, between your real life and your ideal life, there are lots of things that has to get into balance in your life. You have to make your commitments, your priorities. And what usually happens is that you're juggling all of those things, and you can see the difference between your commitments, priorities, and your values. So what are your commitments and priorities are kind of have-tos, because you just have to survive at this point in time, right? And so we have to survive in our lives. So certain things make a commitment a priority. In our ideal life, I don't think we usually would have the same things. Our values are in tune with kind of, where we want to get to and what our ideals are, right? So let's see. Okay, Tom, consistent exercise 5 days a week before 6 a.m. propels to amazing six. Wow, that's great. That's an awesome goal. So consistent exercise for 5 days. So I wish you much luck in reaching that goal every day. And how are you setting that intention for yourself? How are you setting that up to be a success? How are you doing that the day before? So that's awesome. I mean, I wish I were an early morning exerciser. I always hope for that. That isn't ideal for me, actually. So, Christina, hi, good to see you. Yay. Finally, one of my sisters joined. Yay. I was feeling a little like, there's a lot of men on here at first, which is not normal usually. It's usually my ladies that are joining in. So, all right, Tom, thank you for being so interactive. I appreciate it. So reading 10 pages a day is something educational. That is a great goal. That is a great goal. Take time for me every day, 15 minutes at least. Yes. I had a client the other day. I was like, I gave her the assignment that she had to do 30 minutes. So maybe that 15 minutes can go to 30, huh, Christina? At some point, small bites, small goals. Maybe you can get there. Because I mean, I isn't a good nap supposedly 30 minutes or so. So anyway, self-care. And that brings me to the self-care piece. Okay. You can only love others to the same degree as you love yourself. So self-care has to happen. Self-care, for you to get to your ideal life and to your goals, self-care has to make a priority, has to be a priority on that list, because you can't be all burnt out and get to your ideal goals, right? You have to make yourself a priority at some point in all of this. So yes, I was going to say naps, but I was waiting for you to say it, Christina. Christina, the queen of sleep that she is, 20-minute ideal naps. That's good. 20 minutes. Isn't it called a siesta or something like that? So anyway, mugs up if you have one. Of course, this is tea. This is not coffee like I usually have, but nice to see you all. Thank you for joining me. This is my shorter session, I guess you'd say. And this is kind of highlighting some things that if you were my client, that we would go through into reaching you from your real life to your ideal life. What does that look like? How are we going to get you there? What is it that you need to do? So this next tip that I'm going to give you is really good. So if you have pen and paper, please pull it out now, because I'm going to have you do an exercise with me. I've already done it, but I'm going to have you guys do it. So do you have pen and paper? Pen and paper? Anyone? So let's see. Christina, think of something that you're super proud of every day. Lifts your spirits. That's right. So again, if I gave you an assignment last week of a goal, just a small one, and you made one last week, today is your day to tell me if you accomplished that goal. And if you did not accomplish it, what was your stumbling block? I want to know what tripped you up. Because, we have things happen, trips you up, and sometimes we get into that excuse making habit of like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Well, that means that you have not clearly written out what your priorities and your commitments are. And again, that gap between what our values are and all of that can trip us up. So I have a couple little graphics here for you. I want you guys to be living your best life, right? And this is what we think and what really happens. Reaching goals. We think it's like, hey, smooth sailing, but not really. This is what it really looks like, right? You're going along, you just dip down in there, hit some trees. That's a ship in water. So, you hit the water, the ship. It's so true. That's what it looks like when we're trying to get to our goals, right? Like we have lots of pitfalls. We have lots of things come in our way and obstruct us. How is it you can make a priority of getting all of those things out of the way? What is it that you can do? So this is what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you make a take it or leave it list. Okay. So if you have your pen and pencil, or I don't know if you're bold, I use pen, not pencil. Because if I go back, I just scratch it out. So what I want you to do for your real life aligning with your ideal life, and I want you to identify the gaps, okay? So what's missing? What is it that what is making you not be able to get there? What's the missing piece? So let's go ahead and make 3 columns on our list. The first column being the take it list. Now, the take it list, of course, is things, that you absolutely want to take into the future with you. Okay. That you love and you value, the things that you love and value, and you want to take into the future with yourself. Okay. Now, the last column is the leave it column. Of course, that is the one that you just don't like. It drains you. You don't even want to see it in your future. It might be something that you're having to do now, but maybe you can eliminate. So get that on your leave it list. Now, the middle column needs to be a take it or leave it list, which means that you are not connected to whatever those things are that you're doing in your daily commitments, that maybe you could take or leave. Okay. So make that list, take it, leave it, and then in the middle, the take it or leave it list. And as soon as you write those things down, that's you making a commitment to changing some of those things on there, right? So that's how you're going to get there. If you don't understand why your time management is off, if you don't understand why you don't have enough money at the end of the month, if you don't understand why your relationships are not successful, it's probably because you haven't done some real introspection and figuring out in those 3 columns as to what is really important that you really want to get to. What is your ideal versus your real? So I want to know, what do you think? Just name one thing. If you made that list, and even if you don't have a pen and paper right now and you'll do it later, on your take it list, name one thing that you would take it. Like you need to take that into the future to be successful. You need to continue doing this same thing in the future. And Tom, you gave me a lot of good things that you're going to be doing and goal setting and staying on track. And that's great. But what's in your take it list? But what's in your leave it list too? What is it that you can do just to get rid of that leave it? It's almost like when you're going through, and I know we've talked about closets and getting rid of clothing and that kind of thing, that piece of clothing that you just don't want to get rid of. Why? Usually there's a reason to it. It either has an emotional attachment. You either think you're going to lose weight or whatever, and you're going to, wear it again. You remember a time or an event that was so special that you wore it. I mean, what are those reasonings? I mean, you really, they were talking about the joy theory of picking up that piece of clothing. Does it give you joy? Well, not even just that, is it a necessity, or, can you get rid of it? That could be things in your life. Take it or leave it. And sometimes we're really hard on ourselves and thinking that we have to do all of these things, that we have to continue to do certain things that are not necessary, that we think that other people want us to be doing. So you really have to get real with yourself and what it is you want, your ideal life, not the ideal life that your spouse wants, not the ideal life that you think that you need to have for even your children. That is nice to set that up and to get those things in place. But what is it that you're really missing? And why are you missing it? What is causing you not to have that joy? Why are you not being fulfilled? What is missing? So before we go into the holiday season, because sometimes that can be a bag of not fulfillment as well, right? So you really need to understand, who you are, where you're at, and what's your ideal number one, how you can have, and I'm gonna put it up here because I just really like it, living your best life. Are you living your best life? And if you're not, why? The only one stopping you from living your best life is you. If you want to build that dream life, let's start working together and getting some goals together and you meeting those goals of your ideal. So, Tom, I really appreciate your interaction with me. Take it. Live streaming 2 times a day. All right. 2.0 hours of client prospecting for new money. Yeah. 3, 1 hour of training to sharpen my skills. Those are great goals. Tom, that's awesome. So you've already taken a lot of time thinking about that. It is unbelievable how many people don't even think about it. They don't even think about, they go, today was a whole waste of a day. Why? Well, maybe you didn't plan it out. Maybe you need to do exactly what Tom just showed me. He did a 1, 2, 3. The take it. Those are the things he wants to take into his ideal life, into his ideal future. And then the leave it section are the things that he knows is a time wasters, maybe, that something he invested in that didn't have a ROI, return on investment. So sometimes the ROI is not investing in ourselves, in self-care, not investing in ourselves. I don't think we give ourselves enough credit sometimes. I think we see ideals of other people's lives. And I think it's good to see somebody's life and go, I wouldn't mind mirroring that person's ideal life. However, you are you, they are them. They had a whole different journey than you did. They had different pitfalls. They had different money. They had different environments. It's good to strive for that. But you really need to make the decision, if you're going to mirror yourself with someone else, why do you want to mirror? Why do you not want to be your own person and who you are? Or, that success level, it took them a whole different path. We don't always get there the same way, but the way that we do get there is all the same way. Goal setting a goal, setting an intention, making a take it list, just like Tom just did, making a leave it list, and then deciding where we're at in our life journey. What is important to you right now and why? Sometimes our values on what we value, why do we value it? Sometimes it's because of some brokenness that we have that we need to get healed as to why we're missing that. And I think the way that we continue to be successful is in here. You have to believe in yourself. You have to love yourself. And you have to motivate yourself. No one else is going to get you there but you. But it is nice to have other people to surround you and also to look at others and go, I like their theory. I like what they're doing. I want to get there also. How'd they do it? Read a book, exactly like Tom was saying, education, educate yourself. If you want to get there, educate yourself. Your journey might be different, however, but you can try it. Less time on wasted stuff like social network that don't support us and our goals and future careers. Yes. I could spend all day watching or listening to podcasts or anything like this, even me tonight, even this. That's the thing, is what motivates you? How do you get your own motivation? Who is it that motivates you? I want to be around my tribe, and I'll call them my tribe, and same perspective thinkers, people that understand, and I understand, how they got there or why, or, just a new, different, innovative way. Sometimes I don't want to hear the person that's just like me. I want to hear a person that's totally different than me because it gives me a new perspective. Just all depends on what your goal is and what you're trying to achieve and attain. So Tom, yours is leave it, allowing distractions to eat up my business day, giving in to temptations that aren't monetizing my day, and failing to meet deadlines. Yes. What were we just talking about? Jason and I were talking about this the other day. Sometimes perfectionists are actually the ones that are procrastinators. Procrastinating people are usually perfectionists because they want their product or whatever they're putting out there to be more perfect instead of putting it out. So they procrastinate in doing it. So sometimes we do that because we're perfectionists. But you know what? Any successful people I've ever known have failed more than that they were successful. It took them more times to fail. It took them 30 times of failure and finally the one time to success. So you have to try all different ways. But if you procrastinate and you're not actually doing it, you're never going to get there. You'll never reach where you need to be. In fact, I did have a nice little meme about that. But so last week, if you had a goal and you're on here tonight, let me know. And I'd like to see how you did for it. So Tom, I really appreciate your interaction tonight. But I'm already 3 minutes away from the end of the program. Can you believe that? So again, how to get from your real life to your ideal life. Why you're not feeling fulfilled. What is it that you're missing? How are you going to get there? Do the take it or leave it list. Before we go into our next season, and I won't even say the new year, since this year has been so strange, again, moving into the next season, what do you see your ideal life to look like? You need to visualize it, and then you need to take some actions. You need to make some goals. So that's what I'm going to leave you with tonight. And I thank you so much for joining me tonight. And yeah, I know it was quick, wasn't it? A half an hour goes pretty quick around here, but I'm going to leave you some nice outro music. It's royalty free, so I won't get kicked off at YouTube. But this week, when you're thinking about your take it and leave it list, where do you want to be? Where you want to get to? And if you need help, I'm a life coach. I can help you set some goals and I can get you there. So have a awesome, wonderful night. And as we do always, mugs up and peace out. So you guys got to get moving.